Set a new world record by jumping off the Eiffel Tower and landing on his roller skates. First time around, the 34-year-old launched himself from the first floor of the tower but didn't land on the blades. Second time around, he landed and skated the first few metres before sliding into a giant airbag.
Notice we haven't filmed what happened at the end, which is quite right. Thank you very much. Time for the front pages of the morning papers, which lead many of them on David Lawes' resignation. The Mail on Sunday first saying the new coalition government has been rocked by the loss of what it called their cabinet star. The Observer thinking the expenses revelations have left David Cameron's coalition, quote, in turmoil. The Sunday Telegraph claims that Cameron and Clegg were initially willing to let the former Chief Secretary to the Treasury keep his job, at least over the weekend. But the photo there showing actor Dennis Hopper, who's died, as we've just heard, at the age of 74. The Sunday Times says that Mr Lawes' resignation is a blow to the Prime Minister and represents an extraordinary rapid political rise and fall for the Lib Dem MP. The Independent on Sunday has a photo of David Lawes, looking reflective, describing him as a broken man now. Away from politics, the Sunday Express leading on new claims that obesity does not directly lead to other serious health problems. The Sunday Mirror has the latest on the Boys' Own singer Ronan Keating and his marriage. And staying with marriage matters, the Daily Star Sunday with Kerry Katona and her latest relationship. But let's get more now on political relationships. David Lawes' resignation from the coalition cabinet. Joining us now in the studio, parliamentary editor of ePolitics.com, Tony Grew, and Talk Sports political correspondent Sean Daly. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
And welcome. Is it old politics or new politics? That's the question I suppose you want to pose first, Sean.
Well, I personally think it's new politics at its worst in some regards, because, of course, this incident maybe in a previous time wouldn't have been so much of a problem, but because we had the month that was the month of shame in May 2009, because we had the expenses debacle, it's been blown out of all proportion, Mark.
Yeah, but however, the fact is that the Telegraph, doing its forensic journalism, has found that, he at least bent the rules, if not broke them.
Yes, and very interesting that the Telegraph discovered this about 2 weeks after he joined the government and not during the month of shame that he just referred to. I mean, I think this is a tragedy for our country, to be honest with you. I think that what's happened today is that I think the most talented individual member of the government has been driven out. He's been driven out over revelations about his private life. I think that David Lawes was...
Well, I mean, he's resigned. I mean, is that being driven out?
Yes, that is being driven out. I mean, the Daily Telegraph said that they were going to bring this story forward, but weren't going to reveal that it was a man and not a woman that his partner was. I have to say, since the second David Lawes was appointed to this, there's been lobby journalists that have been trying to find a way to out him. They found a way to out him, and they should be very proud of themselves.
Yeah, that's not what's driven him out, Tony, is it?
No, I'm afraid what has driven him out is a sense of... this sort of sense of moral outrage that I think we really need to get over.
Well, but the moral outrage is at the fact that he is a man responsible now for a moral standpoint on parliamentary perks, expenses, public spending. And if there is a question mark about how he handles his own finances, surely that has to be addressed.
I think that I know, Sean, we disagree on this.
Well, let's get Sean to disagree first of all.
The reason I disagree
get your retaliation
is because,
in first.
No, I mean, I ask myself, Mark, would we be looking at a situation where a very senior minister would be resigning if his partner were a woman, a mistress, and he was keeping that quiet? And yes, we would. I don't think... Sexuality comes into this because it's a very unfortunate byproduct, obviously, for Mr Lawes. That's the only reason. It is financial impropriety. He himself has apologised. He said he's paying back £40,000. So it doesn't matter what this inquiry by the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards says. David Lawes himself has admitted that what he has done is fallen short of the standards that perhaps his constituents accept, and it is deeply tragic for him, and it is deeply tragic that he has been outed.
Yeah,
it is.
But Sean, hold on. What David Lawes has done is claimed money, quite legitimately as far as I'm concerned, has claimed money for a rent of a room in a flat in London. We're now in a ridiculous...
The rules changed,
Hold on.
didn't
Yeah,
they?
the rules did change. And the rules now mean that we're in a ridiculous situation where the people that are controlling parliamentary expenses are effectively having to police MPs' bedrooms. We're now having to define what sort of relationships there are between an MP and
well, I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with this sexual... No, it doesn't. Let's actually address this issue, because this is very important. These comments from his colleagues saying it is not an issue of his sexuality, it is an issue of whether he's actually broken the parliamentary rules on claiming expenses for a partner,
for 4
which he
years.
acknowledges he has done now.
He does acknowledge that, and I think he was wrong to acknowledge it. I think this is a matter for
He was wrong to acknowledge it.
I think he was wrong to say that he had done something wrong. I think this is a matter for the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner.
Well, he said that himself.
I think you're wrong to say he's wrong.
I think he's wrong. He's wrong on the second front.
I think he's wrong. I think that he's been forced. I think he's been bounced into this position. I think the fear within the government and the way in which the press have created. Hold on, Sean. The press have created a perfect storm here. I mean, if you looked at the BBC website yesterday, 1 minute they're talking about the allegations, the next they're talking about the mounting pressure on him.
Sean,
this is part of the witch hunt that all MPs have.
Let's get your view on that.
Well, the reason it's nonsense, the rules changed in 2006, and to recap Sky News viewers, he was... well, we'll just recap, because it's important.
Sure, go on,
I think it's important. From 2001 through till 2009, Mr Laws was sharing with his partner James in a place in Kennington till 2007, when they moved to another property, and rental values between £700 and £950 at various different points. Now, the reason this is important, in 2006, the rules changed specifically to say that you could not rent a place off your partner. Now, without getting into the vagaries of what a partner is, if you bear with me for 1 second, because in 2006, the rules changed. Now, Lembit Opik, the former Liberal Democrat MP for Montgomeryshire, told Sky News yesterday that he felt this would effectively be outing himself if he were to change his property designation. Nonsense. Nothing forced Mr Laws to claim that £40,000. In mitigation, however, he could have claimed this amount of money and even more by renting somewhere elsewhere. So I have the sympathy, but sexuality has got absolutely nothing to do with this.
Yeah, well, hold on. First of all, it's very interesting that you're defining what a partner is, because that's what these rules do not do. They don't actually define for us what a partner is.
Well, let me quote to you the Green Book. MPs' expenses, it warns members they must avoid any arrangement that could give rise to accusations that either they or anyone, quote, close to them, unquote, are benefiting from public funds.
What a laughable sentence that is. Anyone, quote, close to them? What does that mean? I don't think I've ever heard anything so ill-defined. This is a man...
I think the public know what that means, don't
No,
they, Tony?
hold on. This is a man... The other part of this argument that really upsets me is this constant argument that because he has been very successful in his life and made some money, somehow he's done something wrong by claiming expenses to carry out his parliamentary duties.
He should have paid it from his own pocket.
Oh, yeah, this is a constant issue that we've heard all through this. Oh, he's a multi-millionaire, as if that has some sort of relevance. And as if...
Well, he's guilty of being a multi-millionaire.
If you're independently wealthy, somehow you should pay for your own parliamentary expenses.
An aspect of that, there is,
And the second thing is, I think that David Laws was in a very, confused place about what his relationship was with this man. I find it tragic that they had...
Well, if there is that confusion, surely then the precautionary principle should apply. You don't claim until you're absolutely sure.
Well, I think it's tragic that he's been caught up in what to me is a very trivial matter to do with expenses. And to be honest with you...
£40,000, trivial?
Over how many years? I actually think £950 a month for a flat in central London, for a room in a flat in central London, is quite reasonable.
It's besides the point, though, isn't it?
Why?
It's besides the point, because
I think he should be able to rent it from whoever he wants, John.
Yeah, look, the thing is, this isn't about this. The public don't have to understand the turmoil that undoubtedly David Laws has felt over these past however many years.
And it's his decision to have gone, and he's acknowledged he's done wrong, but that obviously is not going to be an end to the matter. But for the moment, Tony and Sean, both, thank you very much. No doubt this will continue elsewhere. But right now, we've got to make time for Charlie with the sport.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning to you. Coming up after the break, the latest from Austria ahead of England's final warm-up game before the World Cup. We'll show you also the best of the action from the playoff final at Wembley and a thrilling finale in rugby.